Welcome to another episode of China Update, where I provide you guys with the most up-to-date political, economic and geostrategic analysis on the world's number 2 economy. My name is Tony. Let's jump in. Okay, happy Tuesday everybody. In the last few weeks, the southwestern Sichuanese capital of Chengdu, population 21 million, famous for its pandas and hot pot cuisine, has weathered heatwave, fires, drought, power shortages, flooding, and a full city-wide lockdown due to zero COVID policy. Now, this week, the poor residents of the city have suffered from yet another calamity, a deadly earthquake. Yesterday, Monday, the province of Sichuan experienced a magnitude 6.8 earthquake. The center of the earthquake was about 140 miles west of Chengdu. As of the filming of this, over 65 people have been confirmed dead due to the event. As a basin lying next to the eastern boundary of the Qinghai Tibetan Plateau, Sichuan has long been an earthquake hotspot. This week's disturbance was the region's biggest in 5 years. In 2008, the region was rocked by a magnitude 8.0 earthquake, which resulted in over 70,000 deaths and widespread devastation. Local Chinese media has reported that in some medium to high level COVID risk areas, residents couldn't evacuate apartments during the earthquake because the gates had been locked or blocked due to zero COVID policies. And speaking of zero COVID, we remember last week Chengdu's 21 million residents were placed under a temporary citywide lockdown after the discovery of a handful of cases. This lockdown was supposed to end on Sunday. However, as anticipated by most, many of the lockdowns have been extended into this week. On Sunday, authorities announced that central districts will, quote, further intensify lockdowns and extend control measures, end quote, until at least Wednesday of this week. More mass testing has been rolled out as well. As China's 6th largest city, Chengdu is the biggest to be closed off since Shanghai. In a small piece of mercy, the region, Sichuan, has seen some rainfall this last week, easing the effects of the month-long heat wave and resulting drought, which hit the people there in August. So far, flooding has only been modest to moderate. Meanwhile, the residents of Sichuan are not the only ones feeling the stinging bite of zero COVID restrictions. According to financial media outlet Caixin, 33 cities, representing over 65 million people in China, were under some form of lockdown as of this weekend just past, with 103 cities reporting cases and as such at risk of lockdown or restrictions. New daily cases are now climbing into the thousands. Last Friday, the southern technology megacity of Shenzhen tightened COVID restrictions and put at least 6 out of the 10 of its districts into lockdown. The following day, Saturday, the northern port city of Tianjin, population 13 million, an hour from Beijing, shut down 2 districts after the discovery of 22 cases. Then the following day after that, Sunday, mass testing was rolled out for the whole city. The same day, Sunday, Sichuan's so-called Niaowa Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture, 800,000 residents, locked down its 13 counties for 4 days. A city in the northeast, Daqing, population 1.5 million, extended its lockdown another 5 days as it has failed to control the Omicron spread. Then, this week, Guizhou's provincial capital, Guiyang, population 6 million, locked down 6 of its 10 districts until at least this Thursday. Analysts warn that as the city is home to operations for automakers and battery manufacturers, the lockdown, if prolonged, could disrupt the important industries. All these lockdowns are of varying degrees and scale, from district-specific to city-wide. As of this weekend just been, a total of 7 provincial capitals have some form of lockdown in place. Chengdu, Lhasa, Xining, Urumqi, Shijiazhuang, Guiyang, and Harbin. Quote, the latest wave of outbreaks triggered by the highly transmissible Omicron variant and its subvariants began in early August when the vacation getaway city of Sanya detected COVID cases during peak tourist season, prompting local officials to impose a citywide lockdown. The city, on the tropical island province of Hainan, has yet to lift the lockdown." End quote. Next up, the Chinese economy and of course the lockdowns, especially the devastating Shanghai lockdown, combined with the housing crisis and general global disruptions this year, have rocked China's economy in 2022. At a special meeting yesterday, Monday, Yang Yingkai, Deputy Secretary General of the powerful National Development and Reform Commission, expressed that it is, quote, critically important, end quote, for China to accelerate its stimulus policies in Q3 in order to maintain some growth this year. The statement was met with a degree of bemusement by some analysts who pointed out that Q3 ends in 3 weeks and that the economy still has not shown strong signs of stabilization. According to the National Development and Reform Commission statement, approximately $43.6 billion worth of stimulus has already been spent, primarily on infrastructure. We remember last week that Beijing announced 1 trillion RMB, $140 billion of new stimulus measures. Other officials told local media that $500 billion worth of special bonds have been sold by local governments so far this year. Special bonds are extra budgetary financing tools allocated by the central government and used by local governments to meet extra expenses, typically infrastructure spending, when private sector activity falls short of growth targets. The meeting also included officials from the People's Bank of China who also committed to stabilizing the Chinese currency going forward. The deputy governor of the nation's central bank, anticipating the question, expressed to media, quote, spillover impact of US monetary policy is controllable, end quote, and concluded that, quote, China's policy toolbox is ample currently, both in terms of price tools and quantitative tools. We will strike a balance between stabilizing growth, employment, and inflation, end quote. The Chinese currency has seen 6 consecutive months of decline against the US dollar. Now, there has been a lot of bad news recently about the economy, so let's end with something relatively positive. Yesterday, we got the so-called Caixin China General Services Business Activity Index for the month of August, and the services data was much more promising than the manufacturing index, which showed contraction. According to the services PMI, China's services activity maintained an expansion in August. The economist leading the team behind this index, Wang Zhe, explained why there has been such a disparity between manufacturing and services activity in August, observing, quote, rare high temperatures and sporadic COVID-19 outbreaks were the main factors weighing on the economy in August. The impact of the extreme weather was more significant than that of the outbreaks. The resulting power shortages greatly restricted manufacturing production, whereas service providers remained largely unaffected. End quote. The Caixin China General Composite PMI, which covers both the manufacturing and services sectors, declined for the second month in a row in August to 53 from 54 in July. Hey guys, if you enjoyed today's episode of China Update, don't forget to hit the like button. And as always guys, anyone who wants to go the extra mile and help keep China Update sustainable, help me continue making these episodes for you guys every day, Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee links are in the description below. This is the best way to help me keep China Update primarily subscriber supported and not have to rely on corporate sponsorship. Okay, that is today's episode of China Update. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for the ongoing support, and I will see you all tomorrow.